Hundreds of university staff have signed an open letter declaring racism and white supremacy have no place at the University of Auckland. A new wave of posters and stickers promoting a recently launched white nationalist group have been spotted at the university this week. The Chief Human Rights Commissioner says while the propaganda isn't unlawful, it does beg questions around whether New Zealand's current hate speech laws are fit for purpose. Katie Scotcher reports.
Earlier this week, posters and stickers promoting a recently launched white supremacist group appeared at the University of Auckland. And this isn't the first time. In April, RNZ reported students were becoming increasingly afraid of what they described as a growing movement on campus and white supremacist propaganda being plastered on campus walls. The group responsible for the latest campaign recruits young white men, and its stated aim is to protect European culture. A spokesperson for the university describes the group's views as abhorrent, but says they are protected by freedom of speech. But now hundreds of university staff members, including senior academics, have hit back. In an open letter, staff say racism and white supremacy have no place on campus. They say they have no trouble identifying the group's beliefs as white supremacy, and its ambitions are clearly at odds with Te Tiriti o Waitangi. One of those staff members, Kate Hanna, says now is a critical time for the university.
I think that perhaps it's time for us as a community at the university to have a conversation with experts, people from law, from political science, from history, from all those disciplines that inform the ways in which we have come to understand free speech, and to have a conversation about what that really means and what the limitations of free speech are.
She says the latest campaign has a louder message than others in the past.
One of the things about the most recent occurrences this week on campus is that they were very blatant. They weren't highly symbolic, which we have had in other white supremacist or alt-right or neo-Nazi presences on campus in the past. That's why I'm really hoping that this will lead to a moment in which those experts from the disciplines I listed before can be involved in having a conversation about understanding what this now looks like in the 21st century.
Chief Human Rights Commissioner Paul Hunt says the group's posters are pathetic nonsense, but not unlawful. He says there are some anomalies within the law protecting them.
So there's one threshold for print media. It's a different threshold for online media. There's a set of protected groups under the print media, but there's a different set of protected groups under the online media. So there are some anomalies, and I think they should be looked at.
He says people need to ask whether the country's current hate speech laws are fit for purpose.
When we ask that question, the debate must be inclusive. It must allow all communities to express their view, and the discussion must be respectful and it must be well informed.
In a statement, Acting Vice-Chancellor John Morrow said universities were established to be society's critic and conscience. He said the open letter showed staff exercising their right to academic freedom and was a welcome contribution to ongoing debate on matters that are central to the university's values. I tamaki makaurau mō te hōtaka o te ahiahi nei, ko Katie Scotcher ahau.